my wife still. So that's how I know.
And actually, Gene is sitting in the same position as he was last time.
Sensible, Gene, sensible. And Jordan, I believe he is on a mono fire list. So just the one element from him.
And he's also got a record of 2 0. He must do if he's playing against Gene. Right then, so let's
undefeated players going for the win.
Yeah, so both of these lovely gentlemen will be getting a foil card, a LAN foil card. Oh yeah, of course, get rid of the score. Actually, no, I don't think it is LAN. I think we're doing a variety today. Actually, I know we're giving away more than just one promo card, spoiling our player base. With so many events going on, it's hard to keep track. So, who will go first? Jordan's looking a bit confident there. He's got his deck shuffled, sitting back, relaxed. Probably is very confident at the stage.
Easy, yeah.
Alright, so yeah, for our prizes, we're giving away Vincent, Lightning, and Lan cards. That's 3 promo cards for attending today. Of course, the winner and running up getting the foil variants of those cards as well.
Nice.
Because, we've had to catch up and such with the latest cards, we feel like we overlap. Although, as of this Tuesday, I think we'll be switching over to using them only the recent one, and probably keeping some spare Vincent Lightnings and such for when they're a bit more sought after.
Special occasions.
Yes. Got plenty of Sephiroth, I can tell you that right now.
Oh, Sephiroth, yeah. It's like the only promo for the longest time at the start.
Yeah. Right.
Just
cutting the decks.
Let's see who...
Standard etiquette for these kind of games.
Who can win the dice roll? I think Gene's won that. Let's see whether he wants to take the play. I would imagine he will. But he did say his deck isn't necessarily purely aggressive. But he just took that bent last time, given the hand that he had. We'll see what he goes for. Looks like there's 2 deleters in hand. He is indeed going first. Taking it a bit slower, getting 2 backups into play. Back to sort of a more tempered speed to start off with. Jordan, Red Mage. That could come in handy down the line. One that can stop forwards from being able to block. So he's definitely going to take the more aggressive approach, I think, with this fire deck. Although just getting a second backup into play now. Another one that can be helpful down the line. I believe that can increase the power of an attacking forward or something along those lines.
What was that? The fire deck?
Selfie. S-E-L-P-H-I-E.
S-E-L-P-H-I-E.
Yes.
Yes, choose 1 attacking forward. It gains plus 2,000 power until the end of turn. And that's with 2 energy? Fire energy, yes.
Yes. So Gene's now put down Genesis, that's his name. Nothing to freeze when he entered, but still has got that tricky effect that when he hits you, you'd have to discard a card. So unless Jordan's got a way to deal with that, he's going to be losing a card on this attack. So Machina goes to the damage zone, and now he's just deciding what he wants to discard, I think. And it's red 13.
Could this taking damage be a bad sign for Jordan? He wants it because it's part of his ability, but is it just helping Gene get ever closer to that victory?
Well, I think I would have thought Jordan's deck would want to be the aggressive deck, and I don't, again, whether he's going to struggle from behind with all the dulling effects that we've seen out of Gene's deck. As he played Zidane there, I chose the ability to draw a card when he entered, and then dropped Firion, who has all sorts of abilities, various different things, can gain power, gain first strike, those kinds of things. Let's see what G wants to do about that. He's debating his options. We did see him put one of the deleters into the graveyard, the break zone rather. We're just going to go in for an attack, 7k. Jordan's going to offer up the trade of Zidane for him. See whether Gene wants to do anything about that. I can understand Jordan not wanting to take more damage, as it's costing cards from his hand at the same time. The second copy of Delete is gone, and he's going to break the Monk to increase Genesis' power, and that means Ace goes to Break Zone. So he's keen to keep Genesis around. Looks like he's played a Devout, so that's a way that he can buy something back from his Break Zone. So, can Jordan get anything going here? He's potentially got an attack, but unless he can empty his hand, he really doesn't want to get hit by that Genesis too many times. So he's given 3 on Brave.
Ow, that's the first bit of damage there for Jordan.
Yeah. Reveal the Titan, which doesn't do anything. And, okay, then there's a Machina. So that's a powerful forward. It's bigger than Genesis as it stands, so potentially able to do some good blocking.
Both players have got their backups on the field, so they have a good steady stream of resources coming in to get their forwards onto the board, but it's all whether they can get what they need in their hands and be able to get them on the table. It's all about the damage.
Yeah, I think we've seen a much slower pace to this, people, like you say, progressing their plan, enabling their resources. And it's hard to say. In some ways, this might favour Jordan because his forwards in fire are probably just going to be bigger. In which case, he might just get to the point where he can have forwards back to block and be able to attack in with others. And we'll see whether the freeze effect out of ice can do much. So, looks like Gene is playing a Duke Larg, which I believe gives all of his ice forwards plus 1,000 power.
Oof.
So that means that Genesis is now an 8,000. So
ever slowly just creeping up the power levels of his cards.
Jordan has a similar effect on his side. I forget the name of that backup, but I believe that she gives the fire forwards 1,000 power as well. So I think they've both got a buff to their forwards on either side of the field.
It's anyone's game here at this point. Gene does have the advantage on the resources. However, Jordan has another damage done to Gene there by Jordan.
Yeah, Brave again on Furion, poking in this sort of damage race. Being able to give it Brave, meaning it can be on offense and defense, going to be quite useful. And Rosso, another threat that's difficult to deal with, or at least kill with damage, because it's any damage dealt to it is reduced by half. So
I tell you what, I'm loving our chat here. It's the most active I've ever seen our chat on for any game. It's very nice to have a healthy chat room up for having a debate about the game.
Hopefully a friendly debate.
As friendly as you can get on the internet, I think.
Well, I have to say, in general, one of the things with this game is because things are so new, there's a lot of things that aren't set in stone, so there's a lot of decisions that can be made. Now, Gene's made an interesting play here. He's played Squall from his hand in response to the trigger that happens when Squall enters. He's cracked Devout to bring back Laguna from the break zone. So he then gets 2 different triggers. He gets both Squall's trigger and Laguna's trigger. So he's able to dull and freeze Furion, so he won't activate during Jordan's turn here. But still weren't any good attacks to be had with the 9,000 Machina on defence. So we'll see what Jordan wants to do here. And looks like he's just passing it straight back.
Of course, if you're joining this is the final game and the top table. Gene Wilson versus Jordan Brown, both on 2 wins so far. Gene playing an Earth Ice deck, and Jordan with a Mono Fire.
Although from what we've got in play, it looks very much like Gene is on Mono Ice, as we've not got any Earth cards.
No, I don't see any. Yeah, there are no Earths there at all. Gene had a very strong game last game. If you didn't watch it, he managed to thrash his opponent in 10 minutes. An amazing display of speed between 2 players.
And in a best of 3, so it was
2
games.
Yeah, that was 2 games in 10 minutes.
So Gene's added Kuja to his field. In future turns, it's going to allow him to potentially attack with that and dull and freeze things. But still, it just doesn't look like there's any good attacks because of the power of the fire forwards on Jordan's side. But he's again just passing things back. Makes me wonder whether he's setting up for a Bahamut. He would have the mana to cast it, and it costs 9, so it's expensive, but he's just passing it over. Although something like the White Tiger Lassie out of Jain would make that very tricky. We'll see whether he has access to that.
Obviously, contemplating their next moves. Jordan being very careful here. I think he wants to make sure he gets the upper hand. Don't want to give Jordan... you want to give your opponent enough rope to hang themselves with, really.
Exactly. I think Jain is starting to take the initiative now. He's done a party attack with Laguna and Squall. I think he may be sniffing out some kind of removal from Jordan, and I think Jordan's sensibly not playing into that by trying to use anything he might have. It's hit him an EX, so that's allowed him to go and get a Tifa. So that's another nice aggressive option if he can push through some things. We'll see how he wants to go from there. And does Jain want to put anything else onto this board? I can see a Vincent in his hand, but with no Earth backups, I don't know whether he's
No, I don't think you can get that
got
out.
any way to play it, or I think he might have it looks like he's got a Titan in there as well, so he's probably trying to save that to save his forwards if any removal comes after them. Jordan's got a lot of cards in hand. I think that's pretty much more than 5, so he's going to have to use something this turn. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that Tifa come in. Okay, so he's playing Irvine first. I believe that deals damage to a forward when it enters. So I don't know what he targeted with anything with that.
He's got a VV in, it seems. Is that VV?
Yes, that is indeed. So he's going to get to do 5,000 to something.
He breaks that.
Okay, so the Irvine must have targeted Kuja. He then used VV to do another 5,000 to it, which would have broken it. And then that Titan that Jain was holding on to saves it, but it does dull it, so it's going to enable some attacks. So, well, that's an EX burst Laguna, and with Squall already there, it's going to get frozen as well, so that's going to lock Firion out for 2 turns.
Back and forth here as players exchange blows. Jordan's still in the lead. He's got 3 damage onto Jain right now, but Jain is setting up for one hell of a punch.
Yeah, and now that he can safely attack with Kuja, he can dull and freeze the Rosso there. Okay, so he's dulled Rosso, but frozen Machina. So that's Jordan's 2 most powerful forwards went on tap.
And here goes the swing as Jain deals 2 damage to Jordan. 3 damage.
I just want to give you an accurate time on the round, because there was about 10 million things going on at once there. So we're currently 48 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Exact.
And that's going to make things very tough. So Jordan's got 2 forwards that aren't going to untap here. He's on 6 damage, and there's 5 forwards on the other side, one of which is Renoa. So if he somehow manages to block that, all of his forwards are going to dull. Oh, somehow managed to kill it, rather.
That is really...
some kind of board sweeper. I don't see how he gets through here.
It's really impressive there, seeing that lineup of just party members on Jain's side of the board there. All those forwards in play.
And as you may or may not have noticed, all of Jain's cards are shiny. All the foils.
All the foils,
He's got
all the
foils
time.
for every card. So all his decks are very shiny. So let's see what Jordan can come up with.
Just a kind of comical aside, which I love pointing out.
Sure.
Have you noticed that everyone, when they tap the cards, just somehow seems to turn them, facing upside down to the camera?
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jain's tapping them to the left, which is upside down for us, and Jordan's doing it to the right.
That's right, yeah.
which is upside down.
And that's happened consistently in all our games. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, obviously there's no right answer as to
it's
what
just,
you should do.
No, it's it just struck me as very weird.
Yeah, I hadn't even noticed.
I pick up these things. I may not know the game too much, but I pick up these things.
Right. So, special from Jill, dull and freezing Rosso. Now in comes. I mean, this is just he has to block it. When he does so, it'll dull all his forwards, and anything now is lethal.
And that's it.
There we go. So I said it looked like that the way the game was progressing might favour Jordan with his bigger forwards, but just the ability of ice to dull and freeze things just pushed through so much damage so quickly. And I think that's why people are favouring ice right now, because it can just break a board state like that wide open.
Very, very impressive. Very, very impressive.
So I think if Jordan can manage it, I think the way he's going to get games here is to be aggressive, come out fast, get on the front foot, because it doesn't. The dulling and freezing is not so relevant if your opponent is on the defensive.
And the question will be, can Jordan just get the swing he needs here and get a victory, at least equalise? That if he wants to try and get it into a 1-1 situation and then push for a complete win, or could Gene just run away with it? That is the concern.
It's it'll all come down to, I think, how aggressive Jordan can be, because I don't think he's chose to put Gene on the play, which is interesting, to go first. So he obviously wants the extra card. We'll see whether that works out for him. So it looks like he's got a couple of Zangans in his hand, so he'll probably discard one of those, get another one into play, which allows him to go and search for a Tifa. Now he already has the big 5 cost Tifa in his hand, so he does want another one. I'm not sure how many variations of Tifa he's got in the deck, so that might be his only option. And he's just going to pass the turn there. So again, a sort of a steady-ish start. See what Gene wants to do here.
Has the name to Marcus Williams mean anything to you, Jordan? To Gary?
That sounds vaguely familiar. Why does that sound vaguely familiar?
I think he's the best player in Australia. I believe I saw something about maybe the championships.
Right.
Give me my imagination. Oh, I give you some.
It does sound vaguely familiar, but I can't place why.
You're the expert of the game. That's why I asked you.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, the supposed expert. You said it before that you don't rank yourself.
Well, I don't know. I think
you're higher. They're better than me.
I think I know what I'm doing.
You know
it's
what you're
one
talking
of these things. I think I know all the cards until I'm seeing them on a screen right here, and I'm like, what does that do again?
Yeah. Oh, that's always the case with me. I'm always like, oh, what does this do in X-Wing? Oh, what does this do? Oh, yeah, that's what it does.
Right. So Gene took his second turn, discarding 2 cards to play the Emperor. And Jordan's tried to burn that out by playing using 2 cards on it, Irvine, and then an Ifrit. But Gene once again had the Titan to save it, and that could swing things in his favour. It's not no means over, but Emperor is a tricky card as it turns off all special and action abilities. So there's not many ways that you can deal with it outside of combat.
Well, Mike, if you bring Ice Earth and play any close to how Gene is playing it right now, you're probably going to make at least top table with this. Not a guarantee, but it's quite possible.
So Jordan's got Warrior of Light there. That is actually a good answer to the Emperor in combat, because if he blocks, it will deal double damage to it. So he could offer the trade here. You might be worried about Gene having something like another Titan. And
already the damage is starting to pile up on Jordan's side of the board there. It's looking more and more like Gene could run away with this victory. Which wouldn't surprise me in the least, actually, given the success he had last game. And
Kuja, Kuja's going to make things difficult, because Jordan might not get the chance to block again. There's Machina, so that's a high-powered forward. So if we can put enough threats up that Kuja can't knock them all down, he'll be in decent shape. But
This is the one time where you really need superior numbers, and for that you need resources. But
I think he's just going to get another backup into play, try and give himself more options on the following turns. Oh, Gene just drew 2 deleters with that hand. Very powerful card. It's going to be tough for Jordan to answer that. So there's an EX Ifrit, so he can do 5,000 or something, I believe that one does, or is it the 4,000 one? Or 6? I can't remember. But no attack with the Emperor. Didn't want to trade it with the Warrior of Light. And he does have another. It looks like he does have another Titan in hand, which is probably why he didn't deploy Deleter. Just going to try and protect the threats that he has, because at the moment he does have the superior board. That might change things. That's a big powered forward.
This is
so here we go, another Titan. So the Emperor
goes away.
Rebels.
Okay, there's a
yeah, he's protected his forward. Jordan's dies. His stays alive.
Well, I suppose he doesn't really mind taking that damage because he thinks I've dealt 3 damage to my opponent. I'm ahead on the game here. I don't need to worry. I can use it as a resource.
Yeah. So Gene's going to be able to dull Tifa, get in for 2 more points, put this up to 5 damage dealt.
This is looking like it cannot be brought back at all by Jordan.
It's going to be difficult. Kuja just makes blocking such a difficult prospect because they can dull any of your forwards when he attacks. And I think he's just going to go ahead and add White Tiger. So that makes something like Bahamut, which might have been an out. He's just not going to have the enough mana to cast it and have it resolve now. So
it's looking more and more like Gene's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, again, it's looking well in his favour. I think Jordan just needs to try and put some blockers into play and hope. Okay, so he's trying to answer Akuja. Okay, well that's important because now he has forwards. One forward that is bigger than anything on Gene's side, and another one that's as big as his biggest thing, and the thing that was dulling everything down has no goal.
That could be the opening that Jordan needs here to try and claw something back.
It's certainly his best option. It's going to be a while before he can turn the corner, but it was important to get Kuja off the field there. We'll see what Gene wants to do. I think he's got Shantoto in hand, but I don't think he'd want to be looking at casting that. No, he's just going to progress his backups a little bit further. Just pump the brakes a little bit. He knows he's got dull effects in the deck, and if he can just draw into one of those, the game could finish on the spot. So back to Jordan, and there's a Furion. So another reasonably sized forward, but I think sensibly not entering in any attacks. He knows that Gene's deck has dull effects, and I think he's just drawn one of those in Jill. He can use her special to dull and freeze something, but Jordan's got enough blockers at the moment that it doesn't open up any particularly great attacks, although Gene does have the option of activating his monk to give something more power, so we'll see what he wants to do here. So he's just he's taking the option of Shantoto. I guess he's ahead on damage and doesn't mind losing his 2 forwards to take care of Jordan's 3 very powerful forwards.
I actually would agree with that. If I was sitting here thinking my opponent's got to go take 2 more to die, I've got to take a win. Well, it'll be 6. So yeah, you can afford that. Although he might be regretting it now that he can taking that damage.
Well, yeah, Jordan's first onto the board with the haste threat in Tifa, gets the damage through. I'm not sure what Gene's going to follow up with. He's just drawn Vincent, so that's quite a nice follow-up. We'll see what else he has in hand. I can't see any other forwards.
That deck is so shiny.
Yeah.
I keep looking at it, it's like everything glitters and glosses.
Okay, so there's Genesis. So again, dulling and freezing Jordan's forwards. Again, he doesn't have a blocker this turn. And Genesis is one you just don't want to get hit with because you'll have to discard that card. But Larn actually matches up quite well. Same size. Larn has the ability that he can only be blocked by things. He can't be blocked by things with greater power, and he also can't block things with greater power. But it is 7,000 against 7,000 there, so it matches up correctly. We'll see how Jean wants to move forward. I think this might be Vincent. Okay, right, so he's going to use Rauban. Larn is going to be punched in the face for 7,000, allowing an attack.
Ding.
Jordan up to 6, and now he cannot afford to take a damage. He also has to discard a card because of Genesis' ability.
One more damage will all it take. Jordan will, if Jordan gets one more damage, Jean wins it, and he is the overall winner of today's event. Looking quite confident there, Jean, as well. So I would be confident in his position right now. He knows what he needs to do. Let's just hope that Jordan can make this win, because it probably will be a win for Jean. Let's hope he can make it difficult for Jean.
So Zidane entering the field, drawing a card. So that's a blocker, and it's also the same size as Genesis, so it's a decent option. And playing a Machina as well. So again, he has rebuilt his board. Tifa's going to come in. I mean, he's got to get damage in where he can because,
Okay, and
if not,
he's starting to close the distance here.
Yeah, it's important that he does push through where he can. So I think Jean he's still got that Vincent. I think he's got Renoa, Squall and Atomos. So is there a combination in there? He can certainly use Atomos to take out Zidane. If he could dull Machina as well, which I don't think he's quite got enough for. He would need 4 to cast one of them, another 4 to cast the other 2. No, he should have enough here. We'll see if he sees that as an option. But I think this could be the final turn of the game. So 1, 2, he's going to give that Brave, and then he's going to pass Atomos. Okay, so he's taking a slightly different line. He's going to make that bigger, and with Brave, take out the Machina, do a Brave attack, forces the block from Jordan, and he has to throw away his forward. Doesn't end the game this turn. But,
no, it has cleared Jordan's side of the board, though, and it's put him on an even foot with Jean. But all that hard work that John's put into re-establishing his forward line is now gone.
Yeah.
Although he's very quickly back up with a good forward.
Yeah, and with Vivi, he's got a removal option in terms of taking out Genesis, which I think he's going to do straight away.
There we go.
8,000 damage, and I think he can probably afford an attack with Tifa. I don't think there's any haste in Jean's deck, so he's fairly safe to get him while he can.
Ooh. This is starting to get. This is starting to get very
had
closer.
1 card in hand. He had 2 cards. So what's he got now? He's drawn. Looks like Laguna. He's still got. He's got an Atomos, which he's going to discard to bring Laguna in. So that's going to dull that. And then Renoa's going to go away, and there's Vincent.
Oh dear.
So it's a strong field, and it's bigger than anything Jordan's got right now. And I think he's drawn 2 backups. So that's not going to help him all that much. Jean is on 4 damage, so it's not even like he could try and push through to get to 7 himself. I think he's just going to have to pass, and we may see some chump blocks here if he gets the option to do that. And oh dear,
There's Squall.
There's Squall.
That's all you need.
Jordan has to discard 2 cards. Now it's not going to end the game because he can just block and block, but it's going to be 3 forwards against none. And I don't think there's anything Jordan can draw now. Emperor's Ante is a very powerful card, but it's not going to stop. Ooh, will it? Actually, he could block the biggest thing and then deal damage to the other one. The problem was the other card was Zidane, so he couldn't cast Zande. because it you can't discard light or dark cards.
Borrow an expert for a ruling, can I?
Well, for fancy.
Yeah.
I'll let Gene take that. Okay, here we go. And that's 7 game, and it's game over. just as he leaves, game over. That was incredible. Gene walks away as our winner today at our Athena Game monthly casual Final Fantasy tournament. We run this every single month, alternating Saturdays and Sundays, and it's been very successful. I think we've our first ever time streaming it. I'm actually very, very pleased as the store's tournament organizer with the response we've had from our viewers. We've had upwards of 12 people watching it at once, which is fantastic. So I want actually to thank people personally in our viewers. Crack for Breakfast, East Coast, Mike P, Ufi99, Fagwent, Frozen Madness, Imperishable Night, Into the Fantasy, Nariax17, Alchemimt, Red Tomato 91, S Todd, Space Jamo, Spark Q12, and TB Blogger 1. Thank you guys for all joining us today. That was a really, really big push there by Gene. I thought Jordan could just do it. I thought he might be able to squeak through just 3 more damage and get Gene, at least equalise with Gene, move on to the next match and see who wins the overall game. But it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be, and Gene said not today, and just managed to push through that extra large 1 point of damage he needed, and boom. That's all it needed. So, would you guys like to see more Final Fantasy streams from us? In case you don't know about us, we are Athena Games. We are a gaming store based in Norwich, England, and we regularly stream events. Probably the events we are most known for are our X-Wing streams. We started to stream Magic as well as now Final Fantasy. And we have our players coming into the booth with us now to discuss the final match.
Back again.
So joining us once again back in the booth is Gene. Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Right. Well, that was a bit quicker. A bit longer than your
longer
last
last
game.
A bit more work, yeah.
Yes, Gene Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah, they played out a bit more how it usually plays out, like for your backups and stuff, and a bit of control-y. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see both of you getting your backups down early on, trying to build something, and it just you managed to get some quite powerful fire forwards down, and they were sort of holding the fort. And it just seemed to be dulling and freezing effects that the ice deck has. Just
Shantoto to deal with a few big guys.
Second game. The first game, as soon as I saw Rinoa, I was like, this is just going to fail in a minute. As soon as she
when
dies.
you're on the back foot and they have Rinoa, it's just, you can't block it, you can't not block it.
Yeah.
The only chance I had was a Bahamut, and I'd already lost then.
That's when Dolan throws the Rosso, because that's the only thing that could block and not kill it. So taking that out of the equation just meant like
sense.
one of those big guys had to block and didn't matter what else I told. So
Yeah, Kuja seemed to do a lot of work.
Kuja's really good. Like
again, once you just get onto the back foot,
because you can just pick and mix and match, and you can that one's Dolan.
I hadn't considered that, but in one of those games where you doled the active one, froze the more powerful one, just kept it off balance.
Yeah, he does a lot of work. He's a pretty good guard.
Yeah, that was the second game. I said to Gene while we were playing, he brought out the Tigerless Sea.
Yes.
And I'd been holding on to Brynhilde for a while.
Yeah. It's paid like 6 to kill.
And suddenly I was like, yes, it turned too late.
Yeah, that's what I was at one point, and I think it was in the first game. You had quite a few cards in your hand. I'm wondering whether you were trying to build up to a Bahamut.
I was expecting that, to be fair.
I guess you just didn't have having to try and do multiple burn effects to take down the Emperor a couple of times,
and then you get Titan.
Always the Titan was there.
Yeah.
I mean, you held on to it. Yeah, I think you had like multiple deleters up in times.
Yeah, 2 deleters and a Titan.
And it's like you could have.
I could have played it out, but I wanted to hold the Titan. Yeah, which is always worth doing, I think, because it's actually a good effect for what it does. You pretty much want to play every one you draw, unless it's like the first turn backup maybe. I think the first game I didn't play any Earth cards apart from the Titan, because I didn't get any Earth backups.
Yeah,
And
we were
the second
saying it
game-
looked like Mono Fire against Mono Ice.
Yeah. Second game was a bit more mixed. So actually, short of ice, because half the reason I played the Shantoto is because I drew the 2 gels, but I couldn't use the ice to actually pay for the effect. So I was like, I could use a gel, but I can't really pay for it. So I just
Right.
used Shantoto instead and clear. I think I had Tifa and Mac and a Rosso or something, and
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got a big
the
field.
bigger side of the field. Yeah, yeah. I think that made sense. It's
Mm.
just you've got other forwards coming.
there was a head as well. I was on like 5 damage, and you're on like 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah,
And Sokoneos had time to kind of,
yeah.
to
you're not
rebuild.
really under immediate pressure. Even
Yeah.
though you came out with haste threat afterwards,
which is very good. Good
chipping
thing.
in damage where you could.
Mm.
And if you weren't far off, and we got to 4 damage at the end, I think.
Yeah,
You
4 or
know,
5, I
if you
think.
could've
Yeah.
maybe found another haste threat and
Mm.
pushed through some damage. It didn't seem out the realm of possibility, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
you just drew 2 backups on like that. Put on
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
you?
Made you
It's just-
discard.
Made me discard them.
Yeah.
Then I drew the Zande with a Zidane.
Yeah,
which
I saw
Oh,
the
yeah.
Xander.
Didn't help.
This is great. That blocks one thing and takes
Yeah.
out another, and that you can
Yeah.
deal with 3 forwards with that card. I
Mm.
didn't realise the other card in your hand was a light one.
Yeah.
Uh,
But in all the other games I've played, I've been using Machina and the special ability
mm.
that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
And-
really good.
The game before, I just chained it up. 8 on the first one, 4 to the rest. That dies 4, and just
Yeah.
took them out
Chained
one after
across
the
the
other.
field. yeah.
So, yeah.
This is really good. Yeah.
We've got some questions from the chat. First one goes to Jordan, which is thoughts on an Opus 3 Rubicante in Mono Fire deck.
Mm.
Is that how you pronounce it? Rubicante?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
That's the
6
6
cost, drops to 4 if you have 4 or 5 backups, so it becomes a 4 cost 9k.
Yeah, I looked at that. I also looked at the Fire starter deck Amaranth,
Mm.
and I had them both in, and then I ended up with Zande, Tifa, Amaranth,
All the 5
Rubicante,
Yeah,
and I was thinking if I run into a Vayne,
yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just completely
That's where the-
shut down.
4
So that's
cost
why I
one's
left
better,
it
I
out.
think. Mm.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think, certainly Zande seems too good not to play.
Mm.
Tifa, especially when you've got the ability to search her. I can certainly see why that. Yeah, you put those 2 ahead of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Awesome. Gene,
Yes.
would you consider Opus 3 Kuja to be a staple of Ice now?
If you're aiming for the Diamond Freeze effects, then definitely yes. Because you pair it with things like the Summoner, it makes it really hard to kill. Not Summoner, the White Tiger, the Sea thing. There's games in the Mono Ice deck where I basically wait until I can use them at the same time, because it's easy to beat on its own, but when they're paying 6 for Brynhilda and it becomes 8k, they're paying like 7 or 8 to kill it, and you just control the field with it. Yeah, it is a very strong card. It usually opens up options for other things. You can attack, use that, and then free something else, use a Shiva for another 2, and you can just like fill the field pretty much.
Yeah, Shiva seems
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, just
'Cause I think in our games last week on Lightning, I think I used it. Wrong, it has to be 2 the opponent controls. You can't use it on yourself, which I didn't realise.
okay.
Because I use it as a counter to
trying to use
Alcid,
to
because I didn't realise. I thought if you can use it on theirs, you can usually use it on yours, and yeah, you can't. So it's not as good as
not quite as robust.
Yeah.
As,
not
well,
quite as
that's
bad.
the reason I lost her.
Yeah. Alcid combo, yeah.
Quite surprised I didn't see you running any cannoners, or did you just not draw them?
I think I did in Mono Ice. I ran like 1 just as like a late game. But I was also using things like the Emina and Kosami, because he
Yeah.
freezes 2 when he comes in, which would just keep things like frozen all the time. It's brutal. But so it's susceptible to activations and to Earth Guy pretty much.
And I guess Aerith
Yeah.
stops him doing
That's up to
anything.
Canada entirely, yeah.
5 co backup, but doesn't do anything at all.
Yeah.
5 no backup. Must be you just discard it, but yeah.
Even things like Trey and Ranger,
Yeah,
they stop it as well.
Trey was surprisingly up when we played against that during the week. and it's
Wind
just
is it's amazing because they've basically got 2 cards with 1 curve, which are like immune to acid, and
Yeah.
Ranger and Trey, you put them down, and that stops all lightning decks. And even with Trey, when you're attacking, they can't use any Odins or anything to
Yeah.
trick around it. Or
Yeah.
Black Mages, when they put play into the field, nope, just immune to everything. It's the 2 cards are really good.
Yeah, it's an innocuous looking card, and you just think, well, that I can't control really when the ability's on and off and what have you. But yeah, they seem to be in the right modes.
Yeah,
because
to play
you
around
want
them.
to be.
Yeah.
You know, even just like say immune to EX burst summons.
Yeah, because when
That's
that immune to
really
Odin,
good.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Jordan, someone's got another question for you, which is: was the white Zidanes put in the deck over the white clouds on purpose? If so, any reason you prefer the white Zidanes to white cloud in mono fire?
I didn't have white cloud in the deck because I don't have any white clouds.
Well, there
it
you
was
go.
as simple as that.
Simple
really.
answer. No, I didn't have any white clouds to use, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's simply a necessity rather than a choice.
Yes.
Would you have, if you had them then? Do you think?
I've never really thought about it because I
You
don't
don't
have
have
them,
them, yeah.
so I haven't
Fair-
had to
fair
think
enough.
about it. I like the
Yeah,
draw
that's fine.
effect of Zidane,
Yeah, that did seem to keep the gas going for
Yeah.
you.
and I tried the new Minerva,
Oh yeah.
and a couple times I was drawing 3 cards with that in practice goes, but I felt that was a bit too heavy.
Mm.
But yeah, Cloud lends himself to a fire deck quite nicely. I just don't have any.
Yeah.
You'd use even the common cloud would be pretty good because it works with Wasso, so it'd become get brave. You get plus 1,000, so it'd be a 10k attacker potentially. That could be quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Rosso's
He's also 7.
7, isn't
Mm.
she? Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Sevens
In Tifa as well.
Tifa,
There's
of
lots
course,
of
yeah,
like,
so you've
7
got-
base, and you could even run a Zac.
Yeah, the new Zac.
I think
And then it's another
in
5,
fire
of
you can
course.
almost run like one of like different cards. You have like a Zande, a Tifa, a Zac, a Anwen. Just have like one of each, so it's not too overwhelmed with like 5 costs.
Yeah.
But you've got this selection of them,
You've got a
and
selection.
they're all quite.
Tifa you can
powerful.
go and search if you're playing Zangan anyway.
Yeah, they've got the Vayne, but in fire it shouldn't be hard to get rid of it. Really, you've got Teller, you've got
Yeah, you should have
other things. There's lots
some
of Anwen.
description.
Unless they're playing a proper like lockdown deck, you should have stuff to kill a 4 cost 8k.
Yeah. It was
in
like
general.
Zangan.
Yeah.
It's designed for that. Yeah.
Uh, we have got one more question, I believe, which is to Jean, which is rather jokingly, is Shantoto Bay?
It's awesome. If you run Earth or on 2, that's the first thing you put in. It's got to be done. Yeah. Because I think that there's a turn where I pitch one early to play something, and I try to work out what to discard, and because I've seen there's already one in there, and I one in hand, I couldn't discard it, so I had to keep it. And I'm glad I did, because I think if I hadn't done, he would have built quite a big field of guys, and I just wouldn't have got through. So yeah,
You get a jail free card, isn't it? That's what I've always referred to it as.
yeah,
I mean, I
Shantoto
wanna
is
do-
awesome.
Well, there is a counter to it.
If you're not playing wind, yeah, yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, you can pick your spots, can't you?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Unless you have an emperor like I did, and then it's like I'll just Shantoto my own emperor just so you can't use the
Yeah, there's
Snake
what you
bite.
can do.
yeah, it's definitely worth one in every Earth deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boss.
General open question to all of you, so we'll start with you and walk around. We'll have to do Jean and Jordan. So Gary first. Best deck in the format in your opinion?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's still a fairly new format.
Mm.
Ice has seemed very impressive, so I think some combination with Ice. What the exact right thing of that is, I don't know. I mean, pairing it with Earth seemed very strong. The protection effects that Earth provides seemed good. I've been trying to make a Wind Earth deck work, which I haven't got very far with yet, but it seems interesting. But I wouldn't necessarily call it the best deck in the format. As of right this moment, and this tournament and what we've seen, I would have to say Earth Ice seems like the best thing right this second. I will pass it over.
I'm not sure if it's the best in format. I think it counters a lot of the things which used to be used a lot, like the mono lightning decks and stuff, and it has answers for most things, which I guess that makes it pretty good. But best in format, I think it'll be part ice, whatever it is, either lightning ice, which is like the one you use against me because I made another deck which was like nice deck, and that actually beat my deck like fairly easily. I think it because it's more aggressive, or possibly earth ice. Just think for the powerful effects, and there's more things to kill the problem cards now. So I think it'll be strong.
All right, Jordan, your opinion?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Probably like everyone I was watching and all of us sitting here in the past week, I've probably built 5 or 6 decks and pulled them apart again. I think ice is going to feature somewhere. I like wind just because it's a nice counter to ice, freezing everything. Type 0, you've got 8, activate 3 cards. So I think it'll be Type 0 fighting ice mostly going forward.
That's a fair comment, mate. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and congratulations to your victory.
Thank you.
And congratulations, of course, coming as our runner-up as well to you, Jordan. Well done for performance today. Are you two overly happy with how today's gone for you both?
Yeah, I think my deck works really well. I'm planning to go to a Winterbox tournament in Hatfield in a couple of weeks, and I might take this deck or a tweaked version of it to there. So see how it does in a bigger event.
Yeah, fair enough. Yourself, Jordan?
Yeah, this was the deck I was running before Opus 3 came out. Alright, I've added the Machinas in now. But other than that, I wanted to see whether it still could work.
You clearly demonstrated that it does.
Yeah.
Well done to both of you on that account. And best of all, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. That's, of course, the key thing. Correct answer. The correct answer. Brilliant. So thank you both for joining us. We'll let you go now because you probably want to start checking out and getting your prizes at some point.
Yes.
And the others are just about finishing up, I think, soon.
Cool.
And so we're going to shut down here. So thank you once again for joining us, and good luck for the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Catch you.
Well, what a day.
Indeed.
So I'm very happy with how today's gone.
Yep. Yeah, me too. That's been really interesting. Got to see a variety of things.
Yeah, some great things going on. We got to see the game being played, which, I don't think I've seen any Final Fantasy streams of the TCG online. Maybe I either have been and I've just not noticed them, but
I think there's been a few, but it's certainly not everywhere by any stretch of the imagination.
it's certainly not common. I think it's
No, definitely not.
which is a shame. But hopefully we can start doing this. I mean, I'm very happy with this performance. We've had, a lot of people tune in to watch us today for a small 3-person tournament. So I definitely think we'll be doing this again in the future, and that makes me happy. Which makes me happy to say that this very generic overlay, which we use for Magic, it is the Magic overlay, will be going away, and we'll be getting a much more thematic Final Fantasy overlay in, which I will be designing personally. Because I'm someone who likes presentation. I think presentation is key. So I'm looking forward to designing that in my spare time. But I've been Elliot Baker, and I've been joined, of course, by Gary Brown. Thank you very much for being my expert in Final Fantasy today.
My pleasure.
I would have been completely lost without you.
Relatively expert. I think that's been good.
They seem to be playing a card from that deck.
Let me try and find out what that is.
So thank you for joining us. If there's any feedback you guys have for us, please let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe to us and leave a comment just down below. And of course, if you're watching us live on Twitch right now, don't forget to follow us. You'll get alerts when we go live for any of our games, be it X-Wing, Magic the Gathering, and of course, Final Fantasy. So we will see you guys next time, wherever it may be. We'll see you later. Ta-ra, everyone.
Thanks very much.
See ya.